Welcome, everybody. We are on day 16 of our Summer Reading Regatta. Tonight is the action night. We're doing action and adventure books. This is going to be a fun night because we have two really super dynamic authors with us tonight. Andrew Allen Smith, you all know and love as part of our harbor crew, and M.T. Falgoust. We call her Melinda, but you can call her M.T. And they're both going to be reading tonight, which is going to be super duper fun. Andrew is currently in transit, so that's going to add even more excitement and adventure to our, and action, I might add, to our evening. So we're going to have a good time tonight. We might actually get out of here on time. Wouldn't that be a novelty? Okay, Sailor Shore School. Christopher, will you please let everybody know about this wackiness we're doing?
That I will. For those of you who are not able to join us, or maybe who did join us, on June 7th, Caroline Topperman did Images as Prompts, which was a very, very fun evening of doing some writing and reading what we had done. She is also available to have, you can do this on replay for $10. Then Kate McNeil on June 10th blessed us with her presence doing Street and Launch Teams. Some 30 pages of dialogue that she gave us that's going to be fun to go through again and again and again, enjoyed forever. The other night we had D.A. Reed, or Da Reed. You had me at the hook talking about opening lines in books. Another great workshop, did a little bit of writing. Coming up on June 27th, we have Andrew Smith himself doing Weapons in Fiction, Shots Across the Bow, doing some little videos. It is a PG-13 event, so be careful if you've got kids watching. You might want to just supervise them a little bit. And finally, on June 28th, we have Brent Steth and myself doing Land Ho World Building. So please tune in and join us. It's $5 to see it ahead of time or to watch it live, and $10 for the replay. And each of those includes a download of the transcript included.
Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. I like the idea of seeing it ahead of time because I'm a time travel aficionado, so I'd like to figure out how we can do that.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, I get it. At some point, I'd like to master that, though. I think it would be fun if we record stuff ahead of time and then post it and then share it. So, see, you got the wheels turning now. There, we're doing our thing. Tonight, Melinda Falgoust is going to grace us with an astoundingly fun reading from her book, The Eye of the Storm. If you have not encountered this author before, this is going to be a really special treat for you tonight. She's incredible. She writes in multiple genres and multiple voices, and she writes for grown-ups, and she writes for children, and she writes for everybody in between. And she's a media maven, and she's a editor person, and she's a literary titan is pretty much what she is. She hails from New Orleans, and we're very excited to have her. This is her second festival with us, and this is super fun. Welcome. I'm so glad you're back.
Great to be here, as always.
I'm so glad you're here. It's going to be super fun. Okay, so for those of us who don't know about your more adventurous side of your writing, can you give us a little bit of a hint about, I'm a firm believer in, as you know, of muses and influences and that kind of stuff. So my imagination tells me that you have multiple muses because you have all these multiple things that you do. So can you tell us a little bit about your action adventure muse, where you get your inspiration and your influences?
So I am forever playing that infamous game that all good writers play, the what if game. And it usually is sparked by a story. Sometimes it can be just a turn of phrase. This particular one was when I love to read about conspiracy theories. Whether I'm a big believer in them or not, I won't say. Somebody might be. But But it actually, this came from a conspiracy theory that, and then actually wound up tracing back to some hard science on weather manipulation. And I kind of played that whole what if game. Okay, so what if somebody was able to harness the power of a hurricane, being in New Orleans and seeing more than our fair share of those?
Yeah.
Yes, Kate, they're coming to get us. They're coming to get us. But so I was like, okay, well, let's see, you know, how can we make this a big, grandiose Bond style type adventure? And I took this particular novel to the Clive Cussler Adventure Writers Competition. I believe it was 2018. And at that point, no female had ever made it into the top 3 of that competition. That year, 2 of us did.
That's awesome.
So
cool.
we made it to the top 3. And it was a great honor to be lauded by Dirk Cussler, New York Times bestselling author with his father, Clive Cussler, and basically stated that, you know, I loved this book. It had me on the edge of my seat 1 minute and laughing out loud the next. He's like, you keep writing like this, and pretty soon your name's going to be up there on the New York Times bestseller list with me. And I immediately said, can you repeat that into the recorder? But so yeah, so Eye of the Storm.
So wait a minute, back up before you read.
Sure.
You actually got to meet these people?
Yeah.
Oh my, you say that like it's no big deal.
I spent my 30th birthday with Keanu Reeves, so it kind of
okay. Okay, I'm not so sure I like you anymore. Super envious over here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's always, you know, a great honor for me to rub elbows with, you know, people who are functioning at the top of the game that I want to play for the rest of my life, you know.
That's so cool. You are such a fortunate human being. How awesome. Wow. Okay, we're going to...
Of course I'm fortunate.
We're going to chat some more after you read, but can you read a little bit for us, pretty please?
Sure. So just to give you a little background on this particular book, Eye of the Storm, it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. On March 18th, 1990, 2 men uniformed in Boston blue rapped on the doors of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum and warned of a disturbance call they had received. Against standing orders, a young guard unlocked the door to the 2 men and unwittingly started an 81-minute heist of over $500 million in masterworks of art, including Rembrandt's only seascape, The Storm on the Sea of Galilee. To date, the painting has never been recovered. Today, a bad guy is wanting to harness the power of Mother Nature herself and create a massive hurricane, the storm of the century, which will devastate the United States from the Gulf Coast region all the way up the eastern seaboard. And that's just the beginning. So
holy moly.
That's the setup for the book. And I'm actually picking up towards the middle of the book. Well, not really. It's so you've got chapter 14, Willamette, Oregon. He peered through the sight of the F-2000 from his hidden vantage point in the trees. Even in the low light, he could make out the 2 low-slung humps in the shadows of the cabin. He ducked behind the pine as one of the shadows fired several shots in his general vicinity, and then he quickly returned fire. He wasn't overly concerned about giving away his position. The F-2000 came equipped with a flash suppressor that cooled and dispersed the hot gases escaping from the muzzle. Though the initial concept of that particular design was intended to prevent shooter blindness in low light conditions, it had the secondary benefit of partially camouflaging the shooter in the dark. Nature played her part too. The surrounding woods bounced the echo of each volley of shots. It was nearly impossible to discern their origin. The F-2000 was a military weapon, a special forces bullpup assault rifle capable of firing 850 rounds per minute. Over the years, however, a few of the guns had migrated surreptitiously from their official channels, the Libyan Army, Pakistani SSW, and other organized armies, onto the arms black market. Wasn't his first choice of weapon for wet work like this. There was no finesse, no class, just the abrupt brutality of shredding whatever you pointed at. It also required a degree of intimacy with which the shooter was not entirely comfortable. Up close, personal, not his standard operating procedure. But the freakish weather had called for a drastic policy change. No chance of effectively employing a standard sniper rifle in this gale. Had he had his druthers, he would have employed the longer, sleeker British L11-5A3. With a range of nearly 1,400 meters, it let him dole out judgment from a discreetly anonymous, almost godlike distance. And his judgment could be bought by anyone for the right price. His current client had certainly tithed the right price, a cool $1 million to neutralize the target. Didn't know why his intended quarry had been marked for disposal. He didn't care. He had no need to see the big picture. He only needed to focus between the frenzied flakes of blowing snow through the telescoped view of the magnifying reticle and squeeze. Inside the cabin, Jake's mind raced to find a solution for their predicament. In the battle between fight or flight instincts, flight currently held the winning edge. If an assailant had a rifle immediately at your back, muzzle nosed up against your shoulders, you stood an outside chance of disarming him. Wheel into the barrel with your shoulder and take the weapon. Risky move, but plausible. At this distance, though, there was only one option, but it was absolutely crazy. The burning halogen eyes of the abominable snowman bore down on the would-be assassin, accompanied by a fearsome roar. The churning snow masked the vicious swipe from an unyielding appendage that knocked the F-2000 from his hands. He looked on helplessly as a nearby snowdrift swallowed the gun. The temporary halo of light faded and cover of darkness returned. A foreign epithet escaped his lips, almost Italianate in inflection, but it was drowned out by the returning roar of the beast. Twin shafts of light flooded the clearing once again. An unmistakable brat cut through the wintry gale. He realized quickly it wasn't a snowman, but a snowmobile. A Polaris Edge XC600 to be exact. A sardonic grin wormed its way onto his scarred face. Mythical beasts might have given him pause, but a mere man on a snow-fitted motorcycle? A mere matter of a well-placed bullet. He just needed to find his gun. He scrabbled through the snow, searching for his weapon. A satisfied smile spread as his hands closed on the hammered steel barrel. But before he could raise it any higher than his waist, he was clotheslined by the driver of the snowmobile, rocketing back through the clearing. The lower half of his body swung forward in an awkward, pendulous arc, while his head flew backward and connected hard with a section of packed snow and the unyielding rock beneath it. He fell still, a crimson stain leaching into the surrounding white. The driver of the snowmobile powered down his vehicle and raised the snow goggles from his face. The wary, beady eyes of Grover Kelly looked down at the fallen hitman. "Guess you didn't see the no trespassing signs," he muttered. "Digger!" Jake's voice filtered through the winter howl. Digger jumped off his snowmobile and trudged through the snow toward Jake. Even at a distance, Jake was visibly taller than the bundled rider. When he got close enough, he grabbed the shorter man in a hearty embrace, patting him solidly on the back. "Digger, my man, you are a godsend." "Yeah, I'm not so sure where I stand on that whole religion thing. I talk to him and I'm praying, but he talks to me and the docs call me schizo. Jake smiled. Grover Digger Kelly was not a huge fan of the psychiatric community. Witch doctors and Hugo Boss, he would often grouse. A decorated veteran of both the Iraqi and Afghanistan wars, the Master at Arms second-class SEAL bore the Navy Cross and the Silver Star. Unfortunately, he also bore the weight of an acute case of post-traumatic stress disorder. While in Afghanistan, his convoy had come under heavy enemy fire. He had instinctively leapt from his Hummer and began returning fire, while also pulling a wounded Afghan soldier to safety. Once he had secured the man behind the engine block, he endured showers of Chechen gunfire to rescue a Marine trapped behind the wheel of another vehicle. Ammo had shredded through Kelly's fatigues as he alternated tending the wounded men and returning volleys of defensive fire. Amidst the melee, Kelly monitored the medical evacuation of the injured and then led a ragtag Afghan force to quell the ambushing Chechens. He'd followed up on the conditions of the men he'd rescued, but was devastated to learn the young Marine had not made it. He couldn't come to grips. The young man's injuries had been serious, but not immediately life-threatening. Kelly was never quite the same after that. He began to see conspiracies wherever he looked. After finishing his last tour, he began another one, this time in various VA hospitals. After a well-tailored psychiatrist flipped open his physician's desk reference and declared aloofly, "Let's see what meds you haven't been on yet." Kelly excused himself from the doctor's office, disappeared down the hallway, and into the woods of the Pacific Northwest. He only ventured out for the regular meetings of the Saturday night eaters group that met at the local Denny's. Somewhere between Moons Over My Hammy and the more traditional Grand Slam, the eclectic assortment of scientists, writers, and armchair UFO investigators dug into every new conspiracy concept to roll out of Area 51 and beyond. "You know, pal, you really should consider building a reinforced perimeter around this place, especially if you want to keep the riffraff out." As Jake smiled, his teeth chattered against the cold. "How would you get in, buddy?" He jovially slapped the odd little man on the back. Concerned, he looked down toward the inert body of the gunman, then back at Digger. "You still got that shortwave out at your place?" Digger nodded. "Yeah, of course. Why?" "Gonna need to call streets and sanitation about this guy." He thumbed towards the dead man. "And I got a little infestation problem." Digger threw a thick glove down into the snow and stamped a foot. "You see, it's PRISM, man. The NSA's all over domestic surveillance now. That's exactly why I won't touch your phone. And don't even get me started on the internet." Jake tried to reel his friend in. "All right, Jerry Fletcher." The reference to the 1997 Brian Hegelin film gave Digger pause as the two men started the slog back to Jake's cabin. "You really think I look like Mel Gibson?" "I always thought he had the better butt." Jake smiled and shook his head. Behind them, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the body of the fallen assassin. Nature marched on.
Nicely done. Thank you very, very much. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, what a great read. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here's the first question that comes into my head. How much research did you have to do on weaponry for this? Or is this just something that's a part of your daily life, like Andrew? Or did you actually have to do some research to get it this authentic?
No, research was required. I mean, we go through some training in the military with certain weapons, but certainly I never held an F-2000 in my hand. So I did have to do a little research on the bullpup. But, you know, I actually wound up having to do much more research on the storm control aspect of this particular novel, really digging into the science and making it, you know, completely believable. Because I want to bring a reader in with me in asking well, what if?
Yeah.
So lots of government white papers and, science magazines and things like that.
Okay, so this begs the question. All of my friends, when I was a kid, thought I was a nut because I spent my summers half the day at the swimming pool and the other half of the day at the library doing research papers. I would ask my folks to give me a topic and I'd spent my summer writing research papers. Were you that kid, or did this penchant for writing in heavily researched requirements, did that become something that was part of you as an adult, or were you that weird kid that I was?
I never went so far as writing research papers, but I kept file folders. I Xeroxed a lot growing up when an idea intrigued me and I said, ooh, that would make a great story. And I'd slide it into my folder. And I mean, I still have stories that germinated from some of those ideas that I wrote when I was 12 that are still yellowed, but still with me in my 12-year-old handwriting.
That's awesome.
So, but I've always been super curious. I've always been intrigued about learning new things that could very well explain my varied and wild career path. Yeah, I mean, between being a certified paralegal, certified pre-K through 3 teacher, teaching piano, voice, and guitar, being an improvisational actor, a film, TV, and stage actor, and
yeah,
so
you've pretty much done almost everything in the artistic realm. Good for you. Harbor Crew, any questions for Melinda tonight? Go, Kate.
So one of the things that I just love about listening to you read is how you weave in humor without it being too try hard. Do you find, is that just like a part of just your natural writing voice snark coming out? Do you ever have to go back and say, all right, that was a little too much? Because that was just so enjoyable, just how it was woven in without, again, being too much. And I think we all know what too much means.
Yeah. Occasionally I do get, I'll catch myself sometimes when I'm working for other people. I've had clients that I do writing for who they're all about the concept that misery sells. Unfortunately, if you know me, that's hard. It's hard to be straight serious. I just, it's not part of my nature. So snark sneaks in. I do often have to put it in check. But I am quite capable. I do have a novel that will be coming out later this year, which is extremely dark, but there's still some snark in there, but it's a lot farther apart and more sparse than in anything else that you guys have heard me read at any of these events.
Awesome.
Well,
we will
keep doing what you do.
Yeah,
you do it just beautifully, just amazing. It's the exact perfect balance. It really is. And so please just keep it up.
Any other questions? Harbor Crew, you have a great audience. Harbor Crew, any other questions for Melinda?
Yeah, I have one.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the passion that you put into it and all of the characters. My question is do you write down what different characters sound like, or do you remember them all?
So I am in love with the sidekicks. The sidekicks, actually, I have to be careful because a lot of times my sidekicks kind of call for more attention than my heroes do sometimes. And I have to be careful because those are the voices that are the most distinctive for me. And I can put a book down and not, look at the manuscript for a while And when I pick it back up, that's the first voice that screams back at me. Sometimes I have to reacquaint myself with my hero or my heroine, and go, oh yeah, that's right. The story's about you. I'm sorry. So
cool.
I've heard, I hear the voices, but sometimes I have to kind of remind myself, but the sidekick always is right there.
Any other questions, Harbor Crew?
Yep, there's one in the chat. Mark is asking, are you always this jovial? Do you ever have down days? I mean this in the best possible way, and this is for me, not Mark. You're just like a ray of sunshine. You laugh and I start laughing. You just share that kind of joy, just in your very presence.
So do you ever have down days?
Yeah, I do, but only in private. No, I mean, I'm human, but I try really hard, because to me a successful day is connecting with another human being in some way, shape, or form, and making their day better. Be it with a compliment, a smile, or a laugh. So if I can even make just one person, have a little bit, even if it's just a moment in their day that's a little bit better, then I consider a life well lived. So,
well, the entire chat was, I think, and Mark put it really, really well, but the entire chat, I think, feels the exact same way. It's just, again, you just give up this vibe that just made me smile and made me laugh. And thank you so much for sharing that.
I want to interject real quick. I think you and I share a similar philosophy of life, in that if we can be the person who makes somebody laugh, or in my case, drink, we should.
Yeah.
Or both.
Andrew, say that again. We lost you.
Are you making people drink again, Christopher?
Your microphone's off. That might be a good thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that our rehab unit is getting a lot of money right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you, Melinda, for reading for us. I want everybody to see the cover of your book again. This is The Eye of the Storm, and you guys are super lucky because somebody's going to win this and get it tonight. So super cool. Thank you so very much for coming, and I'm so glad you're a part of our community. I'm just thrilled. Thank you very, very much. Okay, here we go. Hey, Andrew.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Andrew's going to read for us tonight. He writes this awesome series called The Masterson Files. This is such great writing. Andrew is such a great friend and truly a friend to authors everywhere. And this is not his only thing that he writes. He doesn't just write action adventure. He writes poetry and short stories and thoughtfulness. And I mean, he's like Melinda, he just runs the gamut of amazing gifts and talents. And of course, for those of you who've been with us these last 15, 16 days, know that he's also an instrumental part of these festivals. I could not do what I do without him. There's no possible way. I didn't know how to use Zoom until he and I chatted. So congratulations on bringing me into the 21st century among a host of other tremendous talents. Will you please, pretty please, tell us about the Masterson Files series, Andrew?
Well, the Masterson Files, Melinda's character and my character would probably get along. The Masterson Files is about a man who became an assassin both for the government and for several private corporations, and because of a situation, he retired, and he's just trying to retire in the hills with his girlfriend, and people keep coming and dragging him back into the fray. So eventually a whole team is put together just to go through the things he's done in the past and try to figure out if there are any loose ends that maybe the government didn't close. I'm going to read from the third book, because I know that you have 2 copies of Deadly Daughter there. So that should be fun, unless I'm unable again. Can you hear me?
Intermittently. Yeah, your audio is coming in and out.
Oh man.
I know. I'm so disgusted. Okay. All right.
We'll try it.
It's always a challenge, you guys, when we're on the road and
Can
we
you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better.
Yes. Maybe.
Is that any better?
Well, it is when you
We'll
speak.
see. Okay, that works. So at any rate, I apologize to everyone. Because of a situation, we got off very late. We were going to leave last night, and I expected to be at a stable location, but I would never just disappear or avoid the group.
I know, and this is one of your greatest strengths in the world, is your tremendous support of our community and our family, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you very, very much. Yes, Mark, the first book in the series, Vengeful Sun, is an incredible piece of work, and it makes you want to just keep reading these books over and over and over and over. So, Andrew, before you read, I would love to know where you get the continuous, so writing a series is a challenge for me. I can't imagine the idea of doing it. Someday I hope to be able to be skilled enough to do it, but how do you manage to create these consecutive stories, even though you are not, rumor has it, a dedicated plotter? How do you make these things happen in the right order, in the right sequence, one after another, after another, after another? How do you do that?
Well, believe it or not, a pantser can do that too.
Yeah, okay, that's the part I don't understand.
All stories are already in my head and waiting to get out. So as I go out, I've already seen 12 full stories and 15 half stories, and the start to finish on all of them. So the stories are already done. I just have to regurgitate them into either a system or handwrite them so nobody will ever be able to read them, and that they will disappear in my horrible, awful handwriting. But either way, the stories are done. So book 6 is over halfway done on written, but the story's already done. I know everything that's going to happen to it, and sometimes the characters take a little control and change it a little bit, but not too much. The basics stay the same. And the nice part about the Masterson files is all of the different books could be read in any order. Once you've got the foundations, it might be nice to read the first book first, but they'll all read, and you'll pick up the characters, you'll understand what's going on, and you'll be a part of it.
Awesome. I look forward to reading. As you know, Andrew, my TBR pile is super long, and I don't read as fast as you do, unfortunately, and I require 8 hours of sleep a night. So I'm sorry, but I'm not getting through them as quickly as I'd like to. So before we go into Q&A with the group, I would love it if you would read a little bit for us. Are you able to do that while you travel?
Yes, in fact, we're almost to the location we're stopping at, and I'll have real internet there, but I think we're okay where we're at right now.
Yeah, we can hear you real strongly now.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a setup.
Okay.
This is in the middle of Deadly Daughter, and the main character, Michael, has been kidnapped. His girlfriend, Abby, is searching for him along the way, and in her own right, she's somewhat proficient at different things, and you'll understand that as I read this chapter. Michael has woke up inside of a van and been put back out, and now this is the second time he's waking up inside of that self-same van. So here we
Awesome.
go.
Go.
Michael was aware again. He knew he dare not make too much noise or do too much, as it would get him injected. Once again, he stayed loose and listened. The van was stopped, and he knew he was in the same van, potentially with the same people. He heard talking outside and some arguing. He struggled to listen. "What do you mean she killed them all?" a voice was saying. "I paid good money for your hand-picked team, and they fall to a woman?" Michael wanted to smile. They had not gotten Abby yet, and she apparently was making a mess out of their plans. Michael continued to listen. "Who?" The voice was quavering with anger. "That's supposed to make it okay? One man, a girl, and a few dogs take out a full team? You people are morons." Michael struggled to place the voice, but he was not aware of it. If this person was paying for the team, he had some type of vested interest in the operation. Michael had opened the window to let breeze in the house. It was something he rarely did when he was in the shower. When he would come out, there was a masked gunman there, and he dove, but was hit by several small darts. He had moments to focus, and the second man coming in the window before the drugs took effect. He thought about the moments before. The team didn't seem too organized. They were not covering each other, and instead just looking for him. They knew of him, but maybe they were not truly aware of him. Perhaps that would give Michael an advantage. The voices got loud again. "Yes, we will be on a plane to Detroit as soon as possible. We drove to Jackson's airport, and the name says it all. It's a hole." Michael thought about Detroit. He considered the people he knew in Michigan and who might have a grudge against him or Abby. As he was considering, he thought of Abby and hoped she was okay. With Alan there, she would have more than a fighting chance, depending on the number of people this guy had hired. "Yeah, I swear he is out. I'll keep him on ice till we get there. No, the drug won't kill him. He'll wake up from it. He'll wake up from it at once, and it should keep him down for about 8 hours. We'll keep an eye on him, though. I still don't get your..." The man stopped, and Michael strained, thinking something else was going on. "Yes, sir. I know it's none of my business. Yes, I know, sir. Yes, sir, I know. Thank you, sir. Goodbye." Michael heard the man stomp around. Michael was sure that was two separate people, one a subcontractor, but it was interesting this man had a subcontractor as well. Maybe he knew Michael through an agent. "Yeah, bring the plane up," Michael heard the man talking again. "I want to make sure we're in the air quickly. The sooner we get rid of this package, the better." Michael opened his eyes a crack and saw the back of the van was empty. The doors were all closed. He strained to see in the reflection of anything behind him, but could not. He would have to once again take a chance on looking behind him. He did, and the man sitting there was not paying any attention this time. Michael slowed his breathing and waited. The side door slid open. "He awake yet?" "Nah," the man said behind him said. "Not moved a muscle." "God, cover him up," the man said. For the first time since he became aware of himself in the van, he realized he was naked. Ta-da, that's it.
I was so intent in listening to you, I forgot my mic was turned off. Well done, sir. Good job.
Well, I didn't have as much fun as Melinda had so much fun. I should have picked something with more characters. It would have been,
That's awesome.
Good.
So I know that your father has a background that gave you a lot of knowledge of weaponry and all that stuff, right? So what I'm wondering is was this interest in action adventure, spy, assassin, that stuff, was all of that a part of your childhood growing up? Where you was it like a real life touchstone for you, or was it all imagination that came out as you grew?
It was a little of both. My dad was in the ATF, and I got to hear some amazing stories from time to time. After I was 16, I reconnected with him, and we talked a lot. There were some things obviously he couldn't talk about, but there were many stories that he did talk about, and it was always interesting listening to things that most people don't think are real that actually are. And you know, there's a lot that goes on, and there are a lot of people in the world that, oh, none of this, nothing of this happens, or it only happens in America, or a variety of other pieces. As I was looking at it, I went, you know, why not have something that focuses on the on a wider, here's an assassin out there. He's not somebody that's necessarily tied to the government, which my dad ended up not tied to the government anymore, but indirectly, because he just wants to be left alone, he ends up helping people. And yeah, at the core of what ends up happening, he's got a core group of friends that he just helps, and then he's got other people that he ends up just helping, not because he has to, but because, okay, I just want to retire. If I solve this, will you leave me alone?
Got it.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the best.
It's 6 books later, and they haven't left him alone yet.
No. But actually, one of the things about book 5, which you had up, which was Silent Sister, in book 5, a character that you saw in the first book just for a few minutes, Alan, who trains dogs, is more the main character, and Michael isn't brought in until later in the book. And in book 6, it is another character, Ronnie, who is more to the forefront, and Michael gets brought in after the fact because he's cursorily involved with it. So, you know, I'm trying to give each of the characters a little bit more focus as long as they live.
That's, yeah, as long as they live, right? in book 1, there were 2 particular characters who didn't get that privilege for very long. So,
no,
yeah,
it happens.
Yeah. Any questions from the harbor crew? Go, Kate.
Just mentioning, Angela made a great comment in the chat. Both of these books, both of them are just absolutely engaging. 100% agree with that. Second thing I want to say, I feel like there are several members of not just the harbor crew, but just our community. We kind of need to get together and write a book with all of our characters in one universe. How does that sound?
Kate,
I
I already have wheels turning, so
I
can't do everything all at once. You got to give me time. But
Melinda's like, yeah, yep.
Andrew actually made that veiled, not so veiled suggestion a couple of nights ago, and
I think it needs to happen. I really do think it does.
It's simmering. I'm just working on the logistics. Okay.
Well,
I also,
if I could, real quick, there were a group of us who had gone to a convention together, and someone had suggested that we do an anthology, and we did, and then we did 5 in total, and it got to the point, I think the last maybe 3, we all had a specific character or setting or something that took place in each one of the stories that got brought up each time through each of the characters in the author's stories.
oh, okay. Everybody who is in here, if you're in the chat, which all of you should be, if you're in favor of seeing something like this, where all of these characters show up into a shared book or multiple books, put that in the chat. Yeah, I just blew up the chat.
Andrew,
no, I honestly, just to Andrew, I absolutely love where you have this character who is the whole idea of trying to get out, and they keep pulling me back in. I love that. That is one of my favorite things to read, hands down. So thank you for supplying that to us.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the harbor crew for Andrew?
I have a statement for Kate. I think it's lots of fun, and I said the other night, I think it would be cool if your main character and my main characters met. I think that
yes,
there would be a mesh, and it may be, oh, they're against each other, or are they really on the same side?
This is the thing. This is going to happen.
Yeah, it will. We just all have to brainstorm it, and it will happen. Absolutely. No question.
Yep.
Any other question? Go ahead, Brent.
Make us all drink.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
so Andrew, for writing a series,
Yep.
do you, I mean, 'cause I've only written, 2 books that are in sequence, but in a series, do you worry about, have I told this before? Have I done this before? Do you worry about, telling the same, repeating yourself from previous books?
I worry more about the details that are little. Uh, I I've lit and I know Joan is probably out there. I've listened to Joan for a while, and Joan is very big on details and getting the little things right. I have a huge OneNote file that has specific details that I make sure are right across all of the books. I Because the stories are so dissimilar. Uh, I don't worry about repeating myself. The first book starts in Kentucky and ends up in Wyoming and Texas. The second book ends up in Washington, D.C. So, and as it progresses, I mean, the fifth book is in Venezuela. Uh, there are things that lend themselves to not repeating. And there's a running joke in the Venezuelan book that started somewhere else. But yeah, I I've seen that before in series that I've read, and Melinda mentioned Clive Cussler. One of the things that I've read, I think everything that Clive Cussler has written, but one of the things that always got me with him is inside of his book, he likes to repeat the same details over and over. And those details you remember very well, because we know that the Oregon has the fantastic hydro drive that hydromagneto drive that can take it anywhere, and I try to avoid that. If I've introduced a situation, I may prod it a little, but I try not to repeat the same thing. But I think that's an awesome question for anybody writing a series. Are you introducing new material all the time?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't attempted a series, is because I'm so worried about being redundant. That and I have like 150 different stories running around in my head, so it's pretty easy to pick a new one.
Me too.
Any other questions out there for Andrew? Okay. Andrew, so last thing, and then we'll move on to giving some stuff away, because it is kind of 8 o'clock, and I know you're on the road. So the last question I have for you is, when you're writing your stories, let me ask it this way. What's more influential for you, character or scene and setting? What drives the story more?
I get a lot of letters about my characters, and the characters drive the story. Each of them have very unique personalities, and there are a number of main characters that are involved, with Michael and Abby at the center. And being true to the characters drives the story, because I believe wholly that the characters are the story. The settings, I'm very very pointed on keeping them places that I've been. And
Awesome.
very
So you can write more from experience.
right. So if I'm talking about France from a particular vantage point, it's somewhere that I've been, in Paris or Lyon or the South, wherever, or Germany. Or if I'm talking about San Antonio, or the only place that I haven't been inside of my books was Du Bois, Wyoming, and I sent a friend there in a plane, and he took pictures, and he said back, hey, here it is. I've been there many times, and not much of a place, but it fits exactly what you wanted. So that was the only place I hadn't been. But I want to be true, so that in the third book you can follow the Interstate 96, and every place that's mentioned is a place, and get lost in the moment, and follow the book along, where all the characters are the ones that are different. So the backdrop is all of the location, but the characters are what drive the story, the interaction between them, in my opinion.
Building on that real quick, Mark asks, how much of Andrew Smith is in Michael Masterson and vice versa?
Good question. I reserve, I plead the fifth in some of that, but it's closer. The second character Alan is closer to my personality and passion for animals, and but there are pieces of Michael, and there's that bit of arrogance that Michael has that you know, oh, the shot is only you know, the shot's only 1,600 meters. It's not a big deal. You know, I'm going to take it, where 1,600 meters is a tremendous shot. So yeah, yeah, keep going, Mark. I saw that one.
That's a conversation for another day, Mark. Okay,
Yeah.
last one, Kate, and then we got to wrap this up.
This is not even a question. This is just a comment, is just thank you so much, Andrew. I don't think that we could even sit here for a full hour and express how amazing you are to this indie author community. Thank you. Yeah, you keep blushing. I'm not done yet.
And you haven't read my stories.
Yes, I have. You sent anyway. Thank you so much for what you do. You are so incredibly supportive. And anybody who is in the room tonight who does not know what Andrew does, has done, and will continue to do for the indie author community, just know that he's right up there. It's like I've got, when it comes to indie authors, I'm like, I've got Diana up here and Andrew's right next to her. And so please just keep doing what you do, and thank you for everything that you have done. You are absolutely amazing, and we appreciate you so much for that.
I echo that sentiment. Thank you very, very much. I wish you lived closer, Andrew, so I could bring you dinner more often, just because I feel like I don't say thank you enough. So
I'm going to be on that side of the state. I might, this weekend, I might show up at your house.
He's not there. He's away.
I'm in Alabama.
He's closer to me.
Well, then I'm just going to show up, and I might leave something on your doorstep. It won't be like a severed head or anything.
I don't know if I would do that.
You don't know what kind of protection he has in his house, so you might want to wait till he's home.
Look up
All right.
Look up Claymore Roomba.
Okay, that's funny. Okay. Thank you.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note. Thank you, Andrew, so much for coming tonight. I want to show everybody else the book that Andrew read from tonight. This is Silent Sister. This is book 5 of the Masterson Files series. Again, Andrew has told us that we can read them individually, but I highly recommend you start with book 1 so that you have that foundation, and then you can move on to the rest of the series at your leisure. But let me show you. Book 1 is Vengeful Sun. So that's what it looks like. Check it out. In our Harbor store, you can find all his stuff and connections there. All right, Harbor Crew people, we need to give some stuff away. So we are going to give some stuff away. We have 4 prizes we're giving away tonight. The first is Melinda Falgoust's book. See this? The Eye of the Storm. Isn't this an awesome cover? Look at that. See. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna give that one away. Then Andrew has books that he's giving away. What am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I miscounted. We're spinning the wheel 3 times. So Eye of the Storm for 1, and then Andrew sent me 3 books. He sent me Vengeful Sun, which is the first book in the series. He sent me book 3, which is Deadly Daughter, and he sent me book 4, which is Fateful Friend. So, and I have 2 sets of those. So in total, we're giving away 3 spinning wheel prizes tonight. Okay.
I did not rig the spinning wheel.
No, you're and regretfully, Kate, your name's not on it because you're in the Harbor
I
Crew.
know.
So, sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen because I forgot to do that last night. So we're gonna see if I can remember to do it tonight. Awesome. Christopher, he's gone. He left. Brent, Kate, somebody, tell me if you can see the spinning wheel.
I'm right here.
You good?
Yes.
Okay, there he
Yes.
is. Okay, so we're gonna spin the spinning wheel. So spin number 1 is for Melinda's book. Here we go. Hooray, Luba! You got a feel like Kermit. Okay. Book 2 is going to be the trio of books that Andrew sent for us. Here we go. Hey, Gary! Yay! Gary, I just put a book in the mail for you. I think 2 of them. So, yeah. See, the more you come, the more you win. That's the deal. Yep. That's how it works. Okay, last spinny wheel for Andrew's trio. Here we go. You won a bunch of books. Huzzah! And huzzah, and huzzah. And speaking of huzzah, let me see if I can do this. Huzzah! Ta-da! See, Diana's learning. It's only day 16. It's okay. Huzzah, you've won a book. Brent, can you tell the world about this, please?
Yes, to anyone who won a book tonight, you must email Diana at pagespromotions.com by midnight tonight. I put a link in the chat so you don't have to write that down. And give her your name and mailing address, and she will send the book out to you. You have to do it by midnight tonight, or your prize will be rolled over into the next drawing.
And somebody from last night didn't send me an email, so their book got rolled over. I had to do this 3 times already. It makes me sad, but it's a thing, guys. If anybody saw the Facebook post today, I sent out a big box full of prize books. So when they come to you, make sure that you post a picture so that I know they got to you safely, because I'm a Jewish mother and I worry about these things. And Christopher.
You are also going to check inside each book for your little Life Raft lottery card. There is a little sale thing on there. You're going to scratch off to see if you are a winner or not a winner. If you are a winner, you're going to take a picture of the card and hopefully, preferably yourself. You're going to mail it or email it to Diana. You can also post it on Facebook and let everyone know that you won as well. And you'll be eligible for one of some fabulous bonus prizes, including from some authors who are not participating this month, but who donated anyway.
Absolutely. We have the best community. I'm so happy. Next, if that's not enough, Caroline.
That's right. If that's not enough, I mean, who doesn't want more books, right? So what you're going to do is, if you get the little winner sticker inside your book, you're going to get dressed up in the best costume you can find, be creative, and then dramatically, you're going to post a video of yourself performing this poem. Out of my window, looking in the night, I can see the sailboats flickering light. Starboard shines green and port is glowing red. I can see the sailboats straight ahead. Sailboats are there, treasures in your holds, many trunks filled with silver and gold. Sailboats are there, captains at your helm, bringing books for readers of our town. And if you do that, we will vote on our favorite 5 videos, the whole group, the whole Facebook group, and you can win even more fabulous prizes, so many more books that will now grace your nightstand.
And everybody needs to come to the Venetian Night wrap party on June 30th, because that's when we're going to vote for these super bonus prizes. So everybody come that night. You'll get to be, it's not recorded, and you'll get to be on microphone and camera, and we encourage you to dress up that night. So it'll be fun. Thank you to the amazing authors, Mark Bello and Jacob Bullen, who have donated super bonus prizes for us tonight. We're having a blast with this. If you missed it, check out the Facebook page. Andrew has already posted a video that you'll definitely want to look. Look in the announcements tabs, you'll find it there. Okay, moving on. Andrew, tell us about this.
And that's not all. Of all the videos posted, our membership will vote for the ultimate performance, and that person will win the astounding grand prize. You'll embrace the thrill of fear with me. Start with a copy of A Slice of Fear by Andrew Smith Then you'll take it to the next level as you find your way to Barnes & Noble and spend your $50 gift card on what else? More books, pirate booty, but you're not done. You also have to eat and do other things so you can spend your $25 American Express gift card for dinner, cool bookmark, nifty eye patch, other pirate stuff. Hey, what better way to face your fear and move past it with books and your imagination?
I love you so much, Andrew. Okay, here we go. Thank you very, very much for that. Andrew, you're so generous. We adore you. What a big heart you have. Thank you so much. Also, because I believe everybody should win fun, nifty stuff, we have a super fun virtual race going on for all of the authors. As you noticed when you registered, we asked you to let us know who invited you. Every time you tell us who invites you, and it can be multiple authors at the same event, give us their names. They get points toward our virtual race to Mackinac. As you can see, we are only 4 harbor stops away for our lead boat. So help out your fellow authors, help out your favorite authors if you're a reader. Drag more people to these things so that authors can win this amazing Captain of the Fleet race. Our goal is 1,000 spectators for the whole month. Right now we're at 256. So we need to step up our invitational game. Tell everybody, get them here, okay? And then last, but certainly not to be ignored, is the Harbor Store catalog. Miss Kate.
I just realized tonight, after all this time, that Andrew and I have the exact same evil laugh.
Yes, you do.
Just saying. So if you're anything like me, where it's not like you're unlucky, but you just have an absence of luck, and so you don't really win anything, you can still go buy these books. These books, I swear, I literally have a running list of books I need to go buy. You can find all of them in the Harbor Store, which I just popped right back into the chat again. All of the proceeds, because Diana is just the most selfless, kind, again, Diana, Andrew, when it comes to helping out indie authors, these two are right up here in my estimation. Pages Promotions is not making a single dime from any of the royalties from these. This is all going straight back to the authors. And so if you are interested in checking out one of these books, do it now.
Well done. Thank you, Kate. Also, something else to consider. I mean, okay, so we're only in June, but who says you can't buy Christmas presents early?
No, that's smart. That's smart.
Yep. Wrap them up, stash them in the closet, stash them under the bed, and then you don't have to do that mad dash last minute shopping thing at the end of the year. I think this is a solution for a problem we all endure. So check that out. We have almost every genre represented in our festival this year. So check it out. Thank you, everybody. Harbor Crew, I am in your debt. Thank you so much for helping me through yet another day when I thought for sure I wasn't going to make it. You guys still showed up. So thank you very, very much. Christopher, shots across the bow, sir.
Just one. I felt terrible for Kate tonight. She looked like she was salivating, wanting to win a copy of Andrew's books. And I just wanted to show you, back in February, I won all 5. So if you wanted, you can drive by my house. I'll hold them up to the window for you as you pass by, and you can see them.
I drive kind of fast, so you just, I might have to go around the block a few times.
And for me to stay out of the street. Got it.
Yeah, stay out of the street, Chris. Okay, Caroline, shots across the bow, miss.
Well, I was just thinking that I live far away from you guys, but I would totally drive by to see those books, because tonight was one of those nights where I was really regretting that my name wasn't on that spinny wheel from both of you. I love all the research you guys put into your books, and I love all the details and everything. So I'm totally jealous tonight. So
Me
it was
too.
really great.
Awesome. Thank you. Brent, shots across the bow, sir.
No, great readings tonight. A great performance from MT. And reminder that tomorrow night is the thriller leg.
Wow, thank you very much, because you know me, too much going on to keep track of a calendar. Thank you, Brent. And Melinda, do you have any shots across the bow? Because you look like you want to say something.
I'm just saying, if you like my readings, you may want to stop in tomorrow night, as I might be making a guest appearance to read with one of the thriller authors.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe.
We'll see.
Finally, not finally, next to finally, we want to thank Deborah Reed, who is also on the Harbor crew, but she could not be animated tonight. She was only able to listen because she has kids to juggle, and oh my God, how she does that, I don't know. So
Reed.
thank you very much, Deborah, for being a part of our tried and true Harbor crew. We appreciate you. See, Mark, see what I did there? Okay, Andrew, shots across the bow, sir.
Yeah, I will appreciate Melinda and pick up her books. I think that it's fantastic. I think that there are a lot of really good characters that are floating out there, and I think it would be fun to put them all in a boat together and see what they could face. I really appreciate everybody, all the fun, kind words and everything out there. And I do have to plug, I'm sorry, I know that this is action, but I do have to plug, if you missed it earlier this month, my little sister made a post today. This is a book co-written by me and my sister. It is gone from 300,000 to less than 8,000 on the Amazon list just today. I'm in the top 70 right now of 2 different groups, and we're watching this go crazy at the moment. So what not to say to people who are grieving is going crazy. And if we hit #1, we're going to have a party in this room. So
Awesome.
Thanks everybody for all that you do. Wait, I'll let you tell them. They're saying that I can't leave your children in the car. But yeah, have fun.
Thank you, Andrew, for reminding us about the very important book. We appreciate you writing it, and everybody go back and watch the replay that we did at the beginning of the month on Andrew's book that he wrote with his sister. It's super, super important. So check it out. Everybody, thank you again for coming and enjoying the written word with us. It's one of my greatest passions, and I am so pleased to be able to share it with all of you. Thank you ever so much. Everybody have a wonderful night. Andrew, get out of the car and go breathe. Good night, everybody. Have a nice night.
Bye.
Good night.